Alistair Seeley, Stuart Easton, Glenn Richards and Billy McConnell, but do keep an eye open for bike number 15. He's in 27th place. He's at the very back of the grid. Ben Wilson on the Gearlink Kawasaki. Let's go over to our commentators, James Hayden and Jack Burnicle.
Expectant crowd, I think we could call it here at Oulton Park after that Supersport race yesterday. And curious enough, I was just having a little check through records to realise that I don't believe that Alistair Seeley's ever quite managed to win a Supersport race here at Oulton Park. Even he has twice been the national Supersport champion. So Alistair Seeley with a point to prove perhaps in today's race after getting well, I don't know, what would you call it, James Hayden? That was not exactly beaten up, outwitted, but eventually probably outmuscled through the final turn by the mild-mannered Stuart Easton yesterday.
Yeah, it was. Stuart really had him positioning just spot on, and it just made it too difficult for him to beat him.
Very clever riding. Look at the beautiful Mediterranean blue lake here at Island. Here at Oulton Park in leafy Cheshire. Isn't it just perfect? How many cliches can I fit into one sentence? These are the standings in the Motorpoint British Supersport Championship after 5 of 24 races after yesterday's epic. 3 points separate the protagonists Stuart Easton and Alistair Seeley. Third place for Billy McConnell, third in the race for Smiths of Gloucester Triumph. Fourth for Ben on the Gearlink Kawasaki, having to start from the back of the grid. Fifth for Seaton Tuning's Graham Gowland, ahead of defending champion Glenn Richards. Luke Jones in 7th, ahead of Jake Dixon, Jason O'Halloran and Graham Irwin. Sorry, Glenn Irwin. I'm getting mixed up with his brother, who's a motocross racer. And then we've got Taylor McKenzie, 11th, ahead of Richard Cooper in 12th. Dean Brown, 13th. Scott Smart, in his return to the Supersport classes, 14th, ahead of Pauli Pekkanen, Bjorn Estement, Luke Stapleford, Sam Hornsey, Rob Guyver and Mickey Coates. The starting grid, based on yesterday's fastest laps, looks like this. Seeley, who just lost out in the race, is on pole ahead of Stuart Easton, the race winner. Glenn Richards third, Billy McConnell in fourth. Gowland, consistent but not quite up to the front runner's speed, heads up row 2 ahead of Richard Cooper, Glenn Irwin and Jason O'Halloran. Row 3 is Dean Brown, Luke Jones, Scott Smart and Sam Hornsey. Row 4, Jake Dixon, Luke Stapleford, Taylor McKenzie and Adam Blacklock. And we've got a rider just pulling off there into the left-hand corner, the right-hand corner of our picture. We couldn't see who it was, but we'll be one man down on the grid as we await the start. And somewhere hiding behind there, a motorcycle has been pulled off the track. Oh, I think it might. Is it David Payne? What a shame on that immaculate black and yellow Yamaha. Off the line we go. And on pole position, look at scalding speed of the Gearlink Kawasaki. The wee wizard hits the first turn first. Glenn Richards peels through in third place behind today's winner on the Martrain Yamaha, Stuart Easton.
Yeah, and Billy McConnell slotted into fourth as well. So it's definitely the Kawasaki of Seeley, then Easton, Richards, McConnell. That's the top 4.
And it was David Payton from Lonehead on the Double M Racing Yamaha. Off on the warm-up lap. What rotten luck, having come all the way down from Scotland. Seeley, Easton, Richards, McConnell, Cooper, Gowland, Irwin, Jones, Jason O'Halloran are the first 9 through as they go whistling round in pure formation around the Shell Oil's hairpin and then whistle up the hill towards Britain's chicane.
Yeah, and look at that. You can see Ben Wilson. What's he done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh,
he's already done. There he is, Ben Wilson. He's done about 14 people already. make that 15, because hereabouts is another notch.
Oh, what an astonishing opening half lap there for the championship runner-up Ben Wilson. Just look at him all over the track. Oh, I think he's just got Taylor McKenzie on the Taiko Suzuki then. Wow.
That's a superb. He had a lot to do. Obviously, Ben Wilson, we spoke about him. He was at the back of the grid, and you know, he's one of only 4 men to have finished on the podium so far this year. 3 podium finishes for him. No wins yet, but he's done a brilliant start there to be in the same frame as these guys.
And look at this, Glenn Richards, number 1. Smiths of Gloucester Triumph. Remember that very turn he has fond memories of from when he first won the British Supersport Championship with his overtake manoeuvre around the outside of Hudson Kenner into Lodge Corner. Oh, and he's going for the lead. very early on.
Wow.
Glenn Richards, who started out his life as manager of the TT Honda Legends team just a couple of weeks ago at the Baldur 24-hour World Endurance Race, back in action on track in his own right and really punching his weight to the front on the Smiths of Gloucester Drive. But look at the response of Alistair Seeley. Oh, dear me.
Well, more like, look at the speed. Incredible. He just seemed to outdrive him. And but this is a far. Look at him, Glenn Richards again. This is a real fired-up Richards. We haven't seen this Glenn Richards yet this year. This is the first time we've seen him. He looked like, oh, look at that speed of that Kawasaki. That was coming out of there. It really has got the guts, that Kawasaki.
Well, Glenn did say to you on the grid, James, that he this year hasn't gone to plan yet. So this is where he starts getting it going to plan. And look at them, absolutely streaking down the hill here. And oh, and that was number 5, and sneaking a look inside Glenn Richards. So it's at the moment it's Seeley, Richards, Easton, McConnell, Gowland, Cooper.
Yeah, just having a little look to see where we can see Ben Wilson was. There he is, there's Ben Wilson. So Ben Wilson up to about 12th or 13th at the moment. And he said at the start of the race, and I've got no option but to get out there and be a beast. And he certainly is.
I think he's now 11th. Look at this, Ben Wilson there on the bright green and orange Kawasaki, launches his way through Lodge Corner. Quite scary. Just in front of him now, he's got the likes of Jason, Dean Brown and Jake Dixon as we watch a neat move there by Martrain Yamaha's race winner yesterday, Stuart Easton, underneath Glenn Richards through Old Hall Corner, down the avenue into second place.
Yeah, fastest man on that last lap was actually Jason O'Halloran, the man in 8th on the Samsung Honda. So not a lot in it, just literally fractions of a second amongst this much. But there you can see that. There's Stuart Easton, remember the man in 2nd spot there. There's been 5 races so far this year. He's finished late, that's tight. No love lost between them, and look, Seeley gets barged out the way by Glenn Richards. So a late move there for Stuart Easton, the man we're talking about, lifted him up. But Easton's won every race he's finished so far this year. 4 race wins. I mean, it's incredible, really.
Is that the sweet baby-faced Stuart Easton I know out there?
No.
Have they put someone else on that motorcycle?
Well, he puts the helmet on, it all changes, doesn't it? This is that move. Look at the man in 2nd place on the blue and white Martrain Yamaha. Up the inside, lifts him slightly. Glenn Richards doesn't need to be asked twice. Well, great move.
Suddenly, Seeley bombarded, buffeted back to 3rd place. He's got now Billy McConnell for company.
And Ben Wilson's up into the top 10 as well. I just saw Ben Wilson just in the back of your picture there, doing a great job coming through.
Leader now, and look at the gap he's made for himself instantly as Martrain Yamaha Stuart Easton, the championship leader. Glenn Richards, reigning champion, on in 2nd place.
Yeah, they're not going. Seeley's not going to like that. You know, you can see him disappearing. He managed to just time that move to perfection. It'll be a quick lap, one thing.
As they go swooping down, we've got a faller.
Number 18 by the look.
No, I think is it Dean Brown, number 7, who's gone down? Anyway, we've got Stuart Easton, Glenn Richards, and it is number 7 who's gone down. It's number 7, Dean Brown from Motherwell on the Colin Appleyard Macadam Yamaha who's gone down. Yeah, number 18, of course, is in memory of the late, great Craig Jones on the side of his helmet there.
Yeah,
oh,
lost.
Wow, that was coming through his turn.
Yeah, it was, just lost the front there. But on that last lap, Stuart Easton, he's the only man who's got in the 38s, a 1:38.5. 2/10 off the outright lap record held by Glenn Richards from 2012, which is a 1:38.3. So that was 0.8 of a second quicker than Richards on that last lap. So that's a quick lap.
Well, that's interesting because I've got a 1:38.43 as the lap record, and you've got a 1:38.34. So one of us is right and one of us is wrong.
I'm going with what's in the programme, Jack.
Well, I'm gonna blame Bike Sport News because I'm going by what. Oh, perhaps there was a good faster lap yesterday.
Oh, Wilson up into 8th spot as well. So Ben Wilson really coming through nicely there. 8th spot, which is great.
Alistair Seeley set a 38.1 in that epic race yesterday, so he is the man who currently holds the lap record. But right now, he'd like to swap that for being at the front, but he's now through into 2nd place, and the pursuit is on. He'll be trying to rein in race leader Stuart Easton. Glenn Richards still running number 1 on the blue and white Smiths of Gloucester Triumph in 3rd place. His teammate in the bright pink helmet right behind him, number 3, Billy McConnell. a red and white Yamaha of the Northumbrian from Pine Valley, who's been riding consistently, Graham Gowland.
Yeah.
But they've said to Gowler, you need to ride with the same consistency, but just try and get up to the front runner's pace. I think he's... Oh, big moment there. Was that Billy McConnell who got sat up? It was Richards who got sat up, and it's given McConnell a chance. His teammate. Meanwhile, that was a move by O'Halloran on Glen Irwin as they went through Island Bend.
Yeah, that last lap as well. Once again set the fastest lap at 1:38.5, but Seeley and Richards they the 1:38s as well. So this is look, just a slide there. Just had to shut the throttle and just allow Billy to have a go at him. Still holding it in third spot.
Fifth lap of 16 here, and as they come pouring over the hilltop, Ben Wilson's close to joining at the front.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be interesting to see what lap time Seeley does on this lap, because there is Seeley, and look, he's just broken away from Richards, and he looks like he's halved that gap to me, so this could be a very quick lap. I'd forgotten that, you're right, I'd forgotten that he had adjusted the lap record yesterday, 1:38.1, and...
What a lovely word, adjusted the lap record by about 4/10 seconds.
And but this is going to be a quick lap, no doubt about it. He's hungry as well.
Wow. Do you know what, with Alistair Seeley, you can tell the further he pins his elbows in under braking into a turn, the harder he's trying, and he really is on the move at the moment as they cross the line now. 38.2, within a 1/10 of a second of his new lap record, and he's carved the gap down to 6/10 of a second. Yeah, and look at that, you can see he's taken like 3.5 tenths out of him on that lap, so that is a great lap time from Alistair Seeley. And Australian Jason O'Halloran's on the charge in 6th place. He's closing the gap radically now on Graham Garland in 5th. These are the guys at the front. 6th lap of 16.
Yeah, that's yeah, as you say, it's a lot better for O'Halloran because you know, he's not had the best of seasons so far.
Only got an 8th place yesterday, which is not what Samsung Honda want from him, I don't think.
No, and he's not even the top Honda in the championship. Obviously, that's Luke Jones. So you know, that's the one thing that they will be wanting. But back at the front, this is where Easton, though, is so dangerous. He gets out in his front. He's such a smooth, neat rider. Look at Wilson, though, trying to charge in on these guys. That's an incredible ride from him.
Wilson's, his lap times, he's not quite able to sustain the lap times that are going to carry him further to the front runners, I'm afraid. He's just seems stopped where he is, really, and not able to. Perhaps he's just put so much effort into his opening 5 or 6 laps.
But it's also, there he is, there's Wilson, the man we're talking about, that all-action style, but it is diminishing returns. You know, the closer to the front you get, you know, you can't just take seconds out of him anymore. You can take tenths and hundredths, and you know, I think Irwin might still be on his you know, might still be gettable. You know, Irwin O'Halloran, you can see the guys there. He's just got to see how these next few laps go for him.
Billy McConnell slides through past team leader Glenn Richards, the reigning champion, pushed back to 4th place on the 2 Smiths of Gloucester triumphs as Sam Hornsey on the RLR Motorsport Suzuki pulls into the pits. The battle continues at the front. Alistair Seeley responds with a 38.4 on old lap record pace. Easton then just ekes out a couple of tenths of a second. This is the battle of the triumphs, 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, it looks to me, though, that the triumphs, you know, I think that the triumphs have just seemed to not quite be on their pace that they were last year at the moment. You know, that Yamaha and that Kawasaki, they just seem to be working better. And, you know, you could definitely say, you know, Wilson, McConnell, you know, going back down Cooper, you know, these are guys that can ride as good as anyone. It looks like that new Triumph. I know it's a new bike, and they, you know, I spoke to Glenn on the grid, and he said he hasn't got it. You can almost see that a bit. They can't stick with Easton or Seeley, and they've got to watch out for Gowland and O'Halloran now as well, who are right on the back of them. Yeah,
O'Halloran's pushing Gowland along, and Gowland is closed into the back of Glenn Richards. So the red Seaton tuning Yamaha there, number 81. Beginning to close. Actually, we must try and get a glimpse of it turns out that Seaton is from a very old Edinburgh family, and there is a Seaton tartan. And Dougie Anderson of Anderson Kilts has made some beautiful mini kilts for the grid girls for Seaton tuning Yamaha, which we have yet to glimpse.
Oh, that sounds
on
right
screen,
Jack. I like a bit of tartan.
So I think as we're in Knockhill next time out, we ought to, if it's not too chilly, we ought to find out if they've got the tartan skirts on. Meantime, the battle goes on. Seeley at the front, and then McConnell, Richards, Gowland, O'Halloran, an inspired O'Halloran who only managed an 8th place finish yesterday, has put to 6th place and is pressing Gowland in the triumphs. Behind him, we've got Glenn Irwin and then Ben Wilson. See that Wilson's lap times now, he's only doing 39.6. He's not able to sustain the pace of the men at the front.
No, we've also should mention Jake Dixon. So Jake Dixon,
cracking ride for the Supersport Cup leader.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Being in the top 10 there, you know, ahead of Smart. But it's a great ride from Jake Dixon, son of obviously Darren Dixon, and he's got a bright future. He's doing a really good job.
And that good to see Scott Smart showing his face in the top 10 on the Oxford Tag Triumph. So running 10th ahead of Taylor McKenzie and Luke Jones. The two Lukes, in fact, with Stapleford in 4th place.
Now, at the moment, Easton and Seeley just holding station. They matched each other on that last lap to win just a few hundredths of a second. So both on 1:38.4s. That's the two there, and I don't think Seeley's going anywhere.
I think Seeley actually is closing the gap on this lap. But what is impressive about Stuart Easton is he seems to be able to respond as he senses that Seeley's getting a bit closer. Let's see what happens at the end of this lap. This is the group running for 3rd place, headed by McConnell at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, they're really sort of similar riders in their own way, Seeley and Easton. You know, they're both quite small, they're both very delicate. You know, they've got slightly different ways of going on the bikes.
And that gap has definitely shrunk. It was 7/10 at the end of the last lap. I think it'll be rather less at the end of this one. Once again, Gowland able to run the pace of the Triumphs but not close the gap on them. And once again, Glenn is able to shunt up behind his teammate Billy McConnell. Easton Seeley, there's the fastest lap of the race, 1:38.1. Right on his lap record pace, Alistair Seeley, and now just less than 3/10 adrift already of Stuart Easton. 0.14 on that lap.
Yeah, I wonder how he's going to, when he makes his pass, you know, knowing that Easton just sort of slightly. I wonder what sort of taste in the passes are we going to get here. What do you reckon, Jack?
I think there could be a tasty one if he gets close enough to launch one. Where do you think he would launch it, though? Where's his strongest point on the track?
Well, I think last corner's always the, you know, if you're in a real battle, it always comes down to there. So, but I think we're going to see a move before then. I mean, he's right
possibly
on him
down
now.
the hill into Knickerbrook. If he gets the Kawasaki wound up, it's Yamaha versus Kawasaki over the hilltop into the drop down the hill. But the wee wizard, but Easton is so tight on the brakes, he's able to just hold it comfortably.
Yeah, but they both are, and you've got to remember these guys are circulating lap after lap on the old lap record. You know, every lap, bam, bam, 38.4, 38.4, 38.1, 30. You know, this is really impressive, really quick times, and that's how they've stretched the lead to 3rd from 5 seconds now. Craig
Neve has entered the pits on his Triumph. He's out of the race. We're on the 9th of 60. This is where you tries to hold that inside line. Stuart wasn't going to have it on the last lap yesterday, but he has to give best this time. Seeley cuts through. So he wants to get out in front, just sort of maybe just ruffle his concentration a little bit, just try leading a little bit himself, see if he can stretch the lead. So just past half distance, Seeley, Gearlink Kawasaki repasses Martrain's Yamaha's Saturday race winner and championship leader Stuart Easton. Remember, 3 points behind it. Oh, Glenn Richards! Glenn Richards has gone out. The reigning champion digs a big and hammers a big into his championship chances of 2013. He's gone down at Lodge Corner. So Glenn Richards goes out. It's Glenn Irwin who's gone down. We've been wrongly informed. It was Glenn Irwin who went down. Oh, Glenn, that is definitely far too young for Glenn Richards. It's Glenn Irwin who's gone out. And it's Seeley, Easton, McConnell, Richards. This is the move. Yes, it is a Lodge. So that's unlucky for Irwin. He was doing a good job there. It was just getting caught by Wilson, but unlucky. Yes, so Wilson, a helmet, a luminous yellow helmet. It fooled us for a second, didn't it, Jack? Meanwhile, the battle at the front and the battle for 3rd place continues, and we've seen Jason O'Halloran cut through on the blue Samsung Honda in front of the red and white Yamaha of Graham Gowland. So O'Halloran progresses further. He's now 5th. Seeley still leads the way. Isn't it amazing how the Supersport Championship over the years throws up these immense dogfights between two top-class riders every year? No, it is. It's Kawasaki, you know, versus Yamaha. Scotsman versus Irishman, and these two have just been going at it hammer and tongs. Whoever wins this race at the end of the day, James. Yeah. Full stop. Yeah, completely. I mean, it seems amazing to me that you know, Easton's won 4 races and only has a 3-point lead over Alistair Seeley. That was a vital mistake when he clipped the curb at Bottom Bend at Brands Hatch.
once again, look, matching times exactly, 1:38.9s. They're the only guys in the 38s.
Oh, Seeley getting a bit loose on the exit to Cascades, and for a moment Stuart Easton thought about a move towards Island Bend. Absolutely in tune. Kawasaki versus Yamaha. And at the moment the Gearling has the slight advantage. The race victory to the mark of Stuart Easton. And here they are locked.
It's a very evenly matched these two bikes. I think, oh, he's just got popped out of the seat a little bit there, Seeley, just trying to get on the power. But these, I think they've got a little advantage over the Triumphs at the moment. But these two teams, these two riders, these two machines look very, very.
Pauli Pekkanen's pulled into the pits. It's a shame. He had a good season last year, the Finn, but he's struggled a bit at the beginning of this. Up the hill, Alistair Seeley trying to extend the advantage.
I tell you, this is going all the way. This is going all the way. At the moment, I think this is the lull before the storm.
Yes.
Okay, they're just counting the laps off here. They're just counting down the laps. I think the last 2 laps we're going to see some real fireworks.
On the 11th of 16 laps right now, behind Connell, Richards, O'Halloran, Gowland, Wilson, Jake Dixon leading the Supersport Cup, Scott Smart, Taylor Mackenzie in place. And the fabulous howl of the high-revving 600s as surging downhill towards Cascades. Alistair Seeley leads the way, looking for that first victory here at Oulton Park. The gap they've opened up now, I mean, it's about 7 seconds.
Yeah, they really are smoking the rest. Yeah, they are just that above at the moment. Then we come back to Billy McConnell in 3rd. Then we got Glenn Richards, O'Halloran, Gowland.
Third in the championship, 18 points off the championship leader Stuart Easton at the moment. That gap looks as if it's going to get bigger unless these two do anything silly between the two of them. And at the moment, Alistair Seeley looking confident and strong at the front. British Supersport champion for the first time in 2011. British Superstock 1000 champion in 2009.
So neat, though, just counting down the laps.
I suppose it would be silly to ask you, would you rather be leading or second right now at this stage in the race, James?
Yeah, I think it's always nice to lead, I think. You know, you never know when you're going to come back markers. You know, I think you find when you press it on, you just might be able to find that little advantage. So, you know, I always preferred to lead. And then, obviously, it's a bit, if it's last lap, you just got to position to force them to the outside and make it uneasy as yourself. But, you know, it's easy said sitting here. You've got to feel how the race goes. And you do take it by feel and instinct and all that experience. Easton.
And I think Stuart Easton's thinking the same as you and feeling that he wants to be at this point onto the 13th of 16 laps. He retakes the lead.
Yeah. And
I thought that Seeley was having another look straight away.
And
they both like leading from the front, but they both like to be running as front men, don't they?
Well, they're both so comfortable to lead from the front. They're both really fast. They don't need any help. They can do it all on their own.
Seeley's so quick out of Cascades.
You know, that is impressive. He is so good out there. I don't think it's the motorcycle compared to the Martrain Yamaha. These bikes are both quick, but he just seems to have a little bit of an edge coming out there. Saw him pass the Triumphs there early in the race.
So we know that both of them want to be at the front because they're both making every effort to put themselves there with just 2.5 laps to go. Behind them, McConnell, Richards, O'Halloran, Gowland still running as a high-speed train. And then 3 seconds, Ben Wilson, Jake Dixon, Taylor Mackenzie, Scott Smart.
See, the other thing is, you know, for part of this track, there's some places you can pass and places, you know, from this point here, really, unless someone makes a mistake, you're not passing until the last corner. So it's a critical part of the track, especially when you're dicing with one other man that you know is going to come down to the last lap, last corner. You know, this is the important section. You've got to get out of Druids this corner well to be able to put yourself in a position to make the move at Lodge. And he's not going to be close enough. Seeley's very, very good on the brakes into there as well. Very confident.
Meanwhile, back up the track, here we have Billy McConnell still leading the way. Glenn Richards has got taken by Jason O'Halloran. Halloran has really found something extra from yesterday with that desultory 8th place. And as the front, Alistair Seeley still leads the way from Martrain Yamaha's blue and white clad Scotsman, Stuart Easton. This is building up to an astonishing climax once again here at Oulton Park.
It is, and haven't we some 600 climaxes here at this circuit? You could think Hudson Kenner and Glen Richard. You could think Seeley and was it last year when they both went down? That was Seeley. Was it Seeley and Wilson?
Could have been.
Yeah, I mean the last round here, I just saying here in this class at this track, I think we've seen some of the best last laps that we've seen, and some of the you know, and some incidents as well.
And at the moment, anything that Seeley tries, he's not managing to open up any more than a few inches over Easton. Easton absolutely shadowing him and almost showing his front wheel at every opportunity.
Keeping the pressure on, and he's just looking for a way, but it's going to come down, you know, whatever. It might be a move on these next couple of laps, but it's going to be all about the last lap.
So Stuart Easton, 29 years old now, on the Martrain Yamaha, shadowing the equally tiny Alistair Seeley. They've got over 1 lap to go, and it's going to go down to the last lap because Stuart's not close enough to launch an assault into the final turn this time around. Sorry, we're on the 14th lap of 16. We have 2 laps to go. And across the line, Seeley still holds advantage. Stuart Easton tries a different line, almost round the outside, to cut it back down the avenue and pick up a bigger drive. That was a beautiful attempt, wasn't it?
What?
Oh, did it work?
Yes,
oh, they're side by side, and he cuts through. What a fabulously thought out and creative piece of riding by Stuart Easton. He makes a move back to the front. That
was absolutely gorgeous, Jack. He squared it off, he turned it, he got his apex in a slightly different place, stood the bike up and powered it, and managed to beat him over the top there. It was a great move, and again, you can see him try and stretch. He's really good at this, Stuart. He gets in front, you know, just like Alistair did, gets in front and just tries to pull a little bit of top.
Oh, we've got a bike on fire here. We got 15th of 16 laps, the penultimate round, the penultimate lap.
That's a Druids. That looks like a plain white.
And it's I think it's Luke Jones who's gone down. 82, Luke Jones, the Herefordshireman on the KGD Honda, may have gone down there.
The rider's okay. Okay. So, well, back at the front, a lap and a half to go. Easton leads Seeley, and he's pushing the pace here. You can really see it. He's eked out a bike length, maybe a bike and a half.
Stuart Easton, who had 7 wins on Ducati on his way to the British Supersport Championship in 2002, making a return to his most successful class. And here he is, leading once again. So far he's had 4 victories in a row from Brands. I beg your pardon, he crashed out of the second Brands Hatch Indy race. The other 4 he's won. Well, this is it. 1 lap.
This is the last lap. This is what it's going to come down to. I can't wait. It's going to come. It's interesting. Are we going to see the boss at the last corner? Are we going to see something before then?
Seeley looks to me intent on. How fast Seeley's out of Cascades.
It's going to be out of here into Ireland. Oh, look how close he is already. It's climbing all over the back of him. He's going to pull out here up the inside.
What can Easton do to defend his line coming down here? He knows what Seeley will do. Well, Seeley, this time, Stuart made sure he got fast out of Cascades. But round the outside comes Seeley, trying to line up that pass into Shell Oils. Shuts the door on him. Has the door shut on him by Stuart Easton. As they come out of Shell Oils now, up the hill towards Britain's. At the moment, the Martrain Yamaha has the advantage. Yeah, the Gearlink Kawasaki is seeking every little gap.
He's just got to stay right on him, and that's exactly what he's doing. But Easton doing everything right. He's making his bike large. He's putting himself in the right position. It's going to come down to the last corner, Jack, just as we said.
And he's right. Stuart's riding immaculate lines here, isn't it? Making it so difficult for the wee wizard to find any glimmer of a gap.
He's got to be close to Druids if he's going to into this last lap on the last corner, and he's closing in. He's right on him coming into him.
Heading into Druids now. They're getting the of Druids. Who's going to be the quicker down the straight, if you can call it that, under the Black Horse Bridge? This is going to be the big move. Easton bends over on the right-hand side. Seeley tries to go inside him, and it's a rerun of Neil Hodgson and Chris Walker in 2000. They all, but Seeley's gone through. Seeley's avenged it. Seeley takes the championship lead with victory here at last at Oulton Park on Gearlink Kawasaki. Second place goes to Stuart Easton. A distant third might be O'Halloran. Oh no, McConnell fights Billy McConnell snatches back third place from Jason O'Halloran. Glenn Richards is fifth, Graham Gowland sixth.
What a great move, Seeley, though. He timed that perfectly. You saw his bike. It looked like he might run wide, but he didn't. He absolutely nailed that move. Great win there from him, and he gets a notch back.
Alistair Seeley takes the lead in the championship then by 2 points from the man he's beaten in that dramatic finale. And the team divvied out there, Norma and Michael, can have a big hug and a weep and enjoy savouring victory once again. Good Lord, how often do their heartbeats race?
This is that move, and you can see Easton was exactly right. He forced him, but Seeley went up the inside. They didn't touch. So Easton was hoping he'd run wide, but he kept it on line and then powered. Then it was that race to the line, and he beat him by 6/100ths of a second. So just a couple of centimetres at that speed. Awesome. An awesome race. These guys riding amazing.
Fastest lap, 1:38.14, 100th of a second off his new record from yesterday, but better news for Stuart Easton. He's beat Alistair Seeley, he's beaten Stuart Easton, and he has avenged yesterday's race defeat and retaken the lead in the championship. What a splendid race that was. So Stuart Easton will be take that defeat in good grace, as you would expect from the polite Scotsman. But what a race that was, what a climax that was, and Alistair Seeley takes a brilliant victory for Geerling Kawasaki and takes a bow to the packed crowds here around Oulton Park. Motorpoint British Supersport Championship, race 2 of the weekend. Alistair Seeley returns the compliment on Stuart Easton to take victory. Billy McConnell third. He retook third place from Jason O'Halloran on the last lap. Glenn Richards 5th, Graham Gowland, Seaton Yamaha 6th, Ben Wilson, Geerling Kawasaki 7th, Scott Smart on the Oxford Tag Triumph 8th, Taylor McKenzie, Tyco Suzuki in 9th. They both got the better of Jake Dixon's Yamaha late in the race. 11th place for Luke Staples, Hipwell, John Simpson, Bjorn Esmond, and last year's Triumph Triple Challenge champion Rob Guyver in 15th place. Sean Winfield just outside the point ahead of Adam Blacklock, Jake Newsted, and the fall Luke Jones, who fell. Pauli Peck to retire 6 laps back. The championship standings on the top of that slow-mo. Alistair Seeley 2 points in the lead of number 5 Stuart Easton, 122 to 120. 98 points for the place Billy McConnell. 4th Ben Wilson. 5th Graham Gowland. 6th for Glenn Richards. 7th for Jason O'Halloran, now 6 points ahead of Jake Dixon leading the Supersport Cup. Luke Jones in 9th. Glenn Irwin in 10th. 11th for Taylor McKenzie. 12th place for Scott Smart ahead of Richard Cooper, Dean Brown, Luke Stapleford, Bjorn Esmond, Pauli Pekkanen, Hornsey, Rob Guyver and Nicky Colts. The highlights of the race. Great start by all the men on the front row of the grid. None better than number 1 defending champion Glenn Richards. But it's Alistair Seeley who has the advantage, swooping round from pole position to take the lead. And very quickly coming under pressure from Richards. Richards forces a way through on the blue and white Triumph. Alistair Seeley is quick to respond in brilliant fashion. He retakes the advantage by surprising Glenn on the run from Shell Oil to the Britain chicane. And then number 5, Stuart Easton, Saturday's race winner, begins to get in on the act for Martrain Yamaha. He moves through to 2nd place and now pulls this very late move on Seeley going into Shell Oil's hairpin. That allows Glenn Richards to take advantage of the gap as Seeley is crudely sat on. Then Glenn Richards comes under fire from McConnell. McConnell forces a way through at Lodge Corner. And then this by Alistair Seeley retakes the lead from Stuart Easton. By this time they've moved 6 seconds clear and it's all down to fight for the lead. A brilliant move by Stuart Easton down the avenue, retakes the lead. Like that into Cascade, beautifully done. So both of them want to lead from the front, but on the final lap they're absolutely tied together. Seeley decides to squeeze through and somehow he eases aside Stuart Easton, and in the dash for the line the Geerling Kawasaki clings ahead of the Martrain Yamaha to bring Alistair Seeley victory here for the 2nd time this season.